Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with our producer, Alden Iwani. Our very special guest today is former University of New Mexico superstar wide receiver, also a former Atlanta Falcon, Pittsburgh Steeler, New York Jet, Terance Mathis. Terance, welcome to Sports Desk.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. You know, we talk a lot on the phone, and it's good to see you, man. You're still looking good. You're looking good, brother. Looking
I
good.
appreciate that, man. You know, you were just saying a few minutes ago that you were just running on the track. You know, you're still running. And back in the day, you and I played a lot of basketball against each other at Johnson Gym, man, a whole bunch. People forget you were actually on the Lobo team, man. You dressed out. You know, it just got to be too much. You couldn't do two sports. It wasn't because you couldn't play, because you could have played. They could have used you. And I think people forgot you were on the bench. I know I didn't forget it. You had you're an incredible athlete. And again, we're just so happy you joined us today. And, you know, a couple of things. There's a lot of things to talk to you about. Albuquerque hasn't seen you, I don't think, live. You've been on the radio with me and some other people. We haven't seen your face in quite a long time. You came here a couple of seasons ago. Your picture is on the University Stadium along with Bobby Santiago, Robin Cole. And I wanted to ask you, Terance, you know, before we move on with the show, we lost two Lobos recently, and one of them was Don Perkins, the former University of New Mexico star and the former Dallas Cowboys star. And I know you knew him. I know you met him. And my impressions of Mr. Perkins, what a humble man. We lost so much when we lost him. But tell us a little bit about what you remember about Don Perkins.
Man, true gentleman. You got to understand, when I first met Don Perkins, you know, former Cowboy, you know, everybody at some point was a Dallas Cowboy fan. And I was that. And when I found out that he went to the University of New Mexico and had an opportunity to meet him, it was incredible. He put his arms around me from day one, supported me from day one. Just, you know, when we didn't talk football much. He always asked me, how you doing? How can I help you? Or are you navigating around the city well, whatsoever? So he was like a father figure from day one when I first met him. And every time I see him, we have this big smile on our face, like, you know, two old friends who haven't seen each other in a long, long time. So it was always a reunion when I seen him, and he's always been gracious and to me and my family, and he's gonna be truly missed.
Oh, just, you know, you described everything. To him, football was not the be all that ends all, right? In fact, he wanted to talk about other things. He said this in the paper. He didn't want his living room to be a shrine to the National Football League. When he said that, I'm like, wow. Don made you feel like you're the most important person in the room. Honestly, he was an amazing human being. But, you know, we don't want to forget another one of your teammates, Tony Jones, played with you. And let's talk about Tony.
Tony Jones passed away the same week as Don did. And I remember coming on campus. You know, Tony was a couple of years ahead of me. And he's another guy. You know, at first we played the same position. At that slot back in that run and shoot, and I got a chance to play, but he didn't have any animosity. He coached me, he taught me, he put his arms around me, he supported me. There's another guy, you know, when we talk about my college career, there's been so many people that's been influential in the success that I've had at UNM, and to having the opportunity and the blessing to play in the National Football League. And there's been a number of people that touched me somewhere along the way that I never forget, and Tony is one of those guys.
You've always been that kind of person. You know, the reason you and I talked about this, you just were recently nominated to the College Football Hall of Fame, along with Darryl Rogers from Fresno State, and then quarterback Kellen Moore from Boise State, who's the actual Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator right now. And, you know, Terance, it's a huge honor. It's a huge honor. Your statistics, 263 Lobo career catches for 4,259 receiving yards overall, 6,000 all-purpose yards. You know, and it's such a huge honor. What did that mean to you when you got the call for that, that you were nominated to the College Football Hall of Fame?
You know what? It was funny because I wasn't expecting it. But, you know, you see a New Mexico number and you're going, okay, who is this calling me? So you answer it, and then hey, congratulations. And I was like, for what? And then when I was told that I was put on the ballot, you know, I was very, very shocked for one, but I was happy at the same time. And I tell the story to everybody. I was smiling and giggling the whole day. And at that point, the wife and I were going to play. I was going to play a celebrity golf tournament. And once I hit the venue, all the players and the people had seen the announcement, and it was just wonderful. And to me, the thing is, you get the emails, the text messages, the inboxes, whatsoever on your social media, and you hear people say it's well over, it's overdue, it's about time. No, 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 no. And I always say no, it's in God's time. We can't put a time on when God is going to bless us. And He's blessed me when I was not even expecting it. So that's how I know this is a good thing.
You know what? You again, you've always been very humble about your football accomplishments. And you played at a time 73 catches in 87, 53 in 86, 49 in 85. You went over 1,000 in 89. You and Kano Brown formed. People forget about Kano Brown, who's the freshman of the year in 1989, right?
Yeah.
Kano, I think a lot of them. You had that year. You and Kano were killing them because you had 88 receptions for 1,315 yards and 13 touchdowns, averaged 14.9 per catch. You played for Joe Lee Dunn and Mike Shepard. Now that year it's Mike Shepard and Coach Shepard loved to throw the ball all over the parking lot, man.
Right.
I think you had Jeremy Leach as your quarterback. And one game, I think he threw for 500 yards. They talk about the open offenses these days in the NFL, and I asked you on a radio show we did earlier about a year ago what would you have averaged today, and your stats would have been off the chain. Talk a little bit about that open offense that Coach Shepard had. Now, UNM had problems on defense, right? They did, but the offense itself, you moved the chains. You put it was exciting. Talk a little bit about Coach Shepard's offense back in the day.
Well, it was a pro style offense from day one. We did things that the pros are still doing today. As when Coach Shepard left, he went on coaching in the NFL for a number of years. So so that what made my transition from college to the NFL. I won't say extremely easy, but I was ready. I was prepared because of the offense we played in. And it was fun because I was in the slot sometimes, I was out wide sometimes. We was trying to create matchup problems for the defense with me. I would come out the backfield sometimes. So he was an innovator. I think he was at the time that we played that 89 year in that time, he was ahead of the game, the college game, far as offense philosophy goes. And I think as you see colleges today, I'm watching and I'm going, we used to do that back in 89 and 80, we used to do that back when I played in college. So the thing is, football doesn't change over the years. It's just the players. So it was a fun offense to play in. And the thing is that you knew at some point, you can go in the first quarter with one catch, but at some point there was going to be an explosion. And I was always patient for that explosion. And then all of a sudden you catch 4, 5, 6 balls in a row and off to the races we go.
You know what? I think that game, you played Florida that year?
Yes.
Florida, and people forget this, right? Now, I remember listening at home to Mike Roberts, and they beat UNM by field goal, I believe.
Yeah.
And Emmitt Smith had 300 yards rushing that day, playing for Florida in the swamp. But I'll tell you what, that game was right down to the wire. Looking back on it now, UNM didn't have great success when you played here. And do you look back on it and lament any of that and thinking, hey, we had the offensive game, we just couldn't put it all together. Do you ever look back on that and lament that? Because the offensive numbers are off the chain.
Well, and that's the thing. And it was just a shame that we were in track meets or basketball games every Saturday and every Saturday night, and we just couldn't finish games. You talk about that Florida game, if you remember, I ran a reverse in that game and scored that put us up, and then there was a phantom flag comes up after I crossed the goal line, talking about a clipping call. We watched the film; it wasn't there. And then we get the ball last, and we're down, and we're marching, and we're marching, and we're marching, and we throw an interception after we cross the 50-yard line. But we had a chance there to score and win that game. We took Arkansas all the way through the fourth quarter. We played some teams, back then, Arizona, Nebraska, Tennessee, on and on, that we had an opportunity to win some of those games and we just couldn't finish them. And that's the difference between Power Five schools and everybody else. They have bigger, faster, more talent, probably than most, and that they've been in games like that probably more than most. And that's one of the things that schools like the University of New Mexico have to play more dominating teams, more Power Five teams. So when you get into that conference play, you understand the grind it takes to win games in the fourth quarter.
You know what? All those points are well taken. And if I remember that Tennessee game, and a good friend of mine, Wes Henson, played on your team, and I remember that game, the Tennessee game. What they said in the paper afterward, the Lobos were with them, right? And they said we just lined up shoulder to shoulder and just overpowered them, right? So your points about that are well taken. You're still a follower of Lobo football. You're Lobo through and through. You've got your Falcon gear on today. You've got a picture of your career as a Lobo over your left shoulder.
That was my last catch as a Lobo.
Oh, wow.
The last play of my Lobo career right there. And I broke the record for most catches in NCAA history with that catch right there. And I'm headed to the end zone to meet my mom, rest in peace, and gave her the ball. We balled like babies. And you know what she said to me? I'm getting emotional because she's not here with us today. She said to me, "You did it. You did it." And I know what she meant by that. You did what you said you were going to do when you were little. And it wasn't about, it was about, the record was important, but me playing college football and playing at a high level and achieving what I achieved, she was so proud. And she just, in that end zone, it was like yesterday. We hugged and we cried. I gave her that football, and a matter of fact, I have that football in my house today. And it was a special moment because my mom seen me go through the things that I went through without having a father in the household, and to accomplish some of the things that I told her I was going to accomplish, all the way up to the NFL and doing the things that I did.
You know what? What an emotional moment. New Mexico, Albuquerque still means a lot to you. It still does. You and I talk periodically, like you mentioned, on the phone. And although you're living in Scrawny, Georgia now, and you've been coaching high school football out there for 6 years, there's still a special place in your heart for Albuquerque, New Mexico, and University Stadium for sure.
It's funny because, that's part of my history. That's part of my DNA. You got to understand, I was 18 years old when I hit campus there. And, I grew up there. I left there, went to New York, but I lived there in the off season. So Albuquerque has a deep history for me. And you got to understand, I have 3 kids that live there and 3 grandkids that live there. So, that's pretty much a place that I love and endear a lot because of what the people of Albuquerque, the football fans, the families there that have always treated me with the utmost respect and dignity that I deserve, pretty much. And the thing that I love that so much, when I come back, I try to move around and about as much as I can and see as many people as I can, because I'm thankful not only for the University of New Mexico, but for the city and the state that took a country boy like me, 145 pounds, and put their arms around me and helped me get to the pinnacle of my career.
No question about it. Terance, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about your nomination to the College Football Hall of Fame and your career as a professional after these messages on the Sports Desk.
In fact, this game was scheduled for 9 a.m. and we rescheduled it to the afternoon. Dalton Schilke stay alive. Oh, that one's a little long. And that does it. Game, set, and match in favor of Cameron King.
2-2 pitch. That's well hit. It might be trouble. No. Sliding catch and right by Noah Morlock.
That's a hit past the pitcher. And just like that, we'll have another runner come in. And wow, just like that. La Cueva strikes again as Melania Macias comes in.
Oh, 2. Line to second for the double play. Leadoff base runner erased. He was straying a little far on a line shot to the shortstop long, and he turns and tosses it to Padilla for the double play. What?
So the second serve from Boson is in. Cross-court action going on at this point, and it pays off for Boson.
Make a play. There is the bunt, popped it up again. Long run, Cooper, and he's going to make the play. Catchers showing off their leather in this one. I'm out of it. In off the hands, right at Karras. He's going to short hop, scoop that, and turn the double play, maybe. Yes!
Whoa.
Double play! Karras let that one drop, and then a really tough hop. He certainly did that on purpose.
Wow, that's a shot. Wow, that'll do it. Oh my gosh. Man, a shot to center field over the fence for Genesis Jaramillo. And that's it, man. 10-0. Bears with the hot bats right now.
He is bunting. Got it way in on the kitchen there. And a great diving catch by the catcher Trujillo.
What great play, what great hustle by Trujillo right there.
That's well hit to Cooper. It is high. It is deep. It is showing an in-flight movie. Home run, David Cooper.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our special guest today, former UNM superstar wide receiver Terance Mathis, who's recently been nominated to the College Football Hall of Fame. Also played professionally with the New York Jets, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Terance, 689 receptions in the NFL, 63 touchdowns, over 8,000 yards, a 12.8 average. We didn't want to not mention your professional career. We're concentrating more on your college career. But I've got a quote from somebody that played with you. Terance played every skill position on offense, along with being our kick and punt returner, a feat not ever accomplished by any UNM level football player and maybe any college football player ever. And that comes from your good friend, Ned James, man.
Wow, that's my guy.
Yeah.
That is my guy. You know what? Ned and I probably talk once a week. Dear friend, man. And we've had, when he played quarterback, we always talk about the Wyoming game, and I think it was 86 where he was quarterback, and I was just coming back from injury. And boy, we lit it up that day. Oh my God, we had so much fun. And Ned, he keeps me abreast of what's going on at the university. and we talk a lot, man. We talk about our families, and I can't wait to see him again because it's just like you and I talk. Now I get a chance to see you, even though it's through this stream.
Right.
But
right.
at one, Ned and I, we talk about getting together and just I see last time I seen him was when the jersey was retired whatsoever. So Ned is a dear friend. It's funny because people don't understand that, like Ned said, I played every position on offense. People didn't I played quarterback also in a couple of games.
No, I
at the
remember.
University of New Mexico, and returned punts and kickoffs and played running back and slot receiver and the wide receiver position and all those things. The only thing I didn't play on offense was the offensive line. So, but at the same time, man, it was one of those things where wherever you needed me, I was going to play. I just wanted to play football, have fun doing it. And hopefully, we really wanted to win more football games in my career, but it didn't happen. And what happened was true blessing that I accomplished some things that a lot of football players have never accomplished in college football.
No, absolutely. There's some great pictures of you as a pro with the Atlanta Falcons there. And, one thing about Ned, who I love to death, Ned is going to speak his mind, man.
Oh, yeah.
Ned is going to tell you exactly what Ned thinks. I respect the heck out of Ned. I really do. He's going to tell you what he thinks. I'm going to ask you this, Terance, because you're still a Lobo. We mentioned that. You're still a Lobo. You follow the program. You mentioned, head coach Danny Gonzalez has been here. I think this is his 4th season coming up. And I had Daryl Chestnut on a couple weeks ago who played for Bob Davie.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Now, it's been hard for Lobo football. Now, I'm a big fan. Since 1970, I've watched Lobo football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things I always remember is being on the concourse and watching the game. And if they lost the game right away, the chatter was then, when does basketball season start, right?
Right.
And the apathies always seem to set in with Lobo football. They've had success with Rocky Long, with Dennis Franchione. They've had some success. What is it about Lobo football? Do you think that again, that apathy, the Lobo, why hasn't it not had the support in this town that supports Lobo basketball? What do you think the reasons are?
Oh, man. Well, Ed, here's the thing. Fans in Albuquerque and the state of New Mexico want a good product. They want to see a good product. That don't mean a good product that's going to win you 10, 11, 12 games, or even 8, 9 games. They want to see efficiency, discipline, and good football for 4 quarters. See what I'm saying? They want to see offensive football for 1. They want to see here's the thing. Here's the thing, and it happens here. It happens in the NFL too, and I talk about it here in Atlanta all the time. When you wake up on, and I'm gonna talk about professionally right now. Then we'll go back to New Mexico. When you wake up on Sunday mornings, who do you say, "Oh man, I can't wait to get to the stadium and see such and such play"? See what I'm saying?
Right.
So we go back to New Mexico. It's one of those things, even though it's a team sport, who do you wake up on Saturday mornings and say, "I can't wait to get to the stadium and see such and such play"? And you go across the country, you have people waking up and saying, "Hey, I can't wait to go see Bryce Young play in Alabama." You see what I'm saying? Or I can't wait to go see Stroud play at Ohio State or wherever it may be. You don't have that in this university system in New Mexico. And someday it has to happen, because the thing is, all it takes is 1 or 2 players to galvanize and rejuvenate this fan base. And he's out there, and you just got to go find him. There's players that are hungry to be successful, and you just got to do the due diligence to go find them. And here's the thing, and I'm not even talking about the University of New Mexico. I'm talking about college recruiting across the board. You can't just settle. Here's the thing. Here's my philosophy about recruiting. There's a list of 5-star, 4-star players. I'm going to try to go and recruit all these 5 4-star players. And the thing is, You know, am I going to get most of them? No, I'm not. But guess what happens? Once these 5 and 4-star players saying, oh, I've got an offer from the University of New Mexico, knowing that they're going to take a Power 5 school, guess what these 3 and 2-star guys going to do? Well, there's something about New Mexico because of the fact that, hey, they was on the radar with one of the top 300 ESPN players. So if you start low in your recruiting and you don't get those guys, where are you going? You're going lower and lower and lower. But if you start high in recruiting, and when you fall down, you're gonna fall down to a few 3-stars, and you may luck up and get a 4-star or a 5-star if you're recruiting well enough, and if you can sell your university well enough, you know, and your program well enough, they will come. And you know, you can't go into recruiting going, oh, we're not gonna get that guy. Why are we going after that guy? It's going to cost us too much money to get to travel there, do all these things. You're already defeating yourself in recruiting if you think that way. And you have to have high goals and high standards when it comes to recruiting. And now with this new NIL deal, you have to have your meetings with your booster club and all your booster people and some of the companies in the city and in the state of New Mexico. And says, hey, look, if we want to grow this program, this is what's happening in college football. Help us grow this program. And the thing is that you got to have a great plan. Your plan for success has to be more than just being okay. You know, there's a lot of good teams. You know, there's a lot of good teams, but there's not a lot of great teams. I want to be great.
You got to raise the bar. Terance, you know, we got about 2 minutes left, so I want to ask you one last question. You know, you did apply for the New Mexico State job. You thought you had an interview with New Mexico State Athletic Director Mario Mocha. You know, something fell through, and they hired Jerry Kill as their new coach. Are you still going to seek, you know, you're not sure if you're going to return to high school football coaching. Are you still going to seek a college football job, a head coaching job in the future?
I am. I'm never going to grow weary from doing that. You know, the thing is that God didn't put me here just to be average. God didn't make me just to just settle. You know, my thing is I want to coach at the highest. You know, someday it may be the NFL, but right now college is my focus because I think I can not only bring a winning atmosphere or winning culture, but I can mold these young men to be professionals in whatever they want to be. That's what it's all about, being a professional. You're going to be a professional at something, so we're going to teach them to become a professional. I don't care if it's NFL or a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, whatever it may be. My coaching staff and my program are going to teach you how to become a professional.
There's some great pictures of you in the Super Bowl and scoring on a touchdown there against the Denver Broncos, a pass from Chris Chandler, short pass, 4-yard over the middle. I remember you telling me how excited you were coming out of the tunnel for that Super Bowl. And people talk about the Super Bowl, right? And is it the ultimate game? Absolutely it is, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned the chills that you had up your spine when you came out of the tunnel that day against the Denver Broncos. Terance Mathis, you know, you're nominated for the College Football Hall of Fame. Former UNM superstar wide receiver, again, all-pro with the Atlanta Falcons in 1994. Your best season was with them in 1994, 111 catches. We sure appreciate you joining us today. We're going to have to get you back, and we just have so much to talk about, man. You know, I've got the utmost respect for you as a man and as a football player, of course. But thank you so much for joining us today on the Sports Desk.
God bless you, Ed. God bless you, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You bet, brother. You bet.
Yes.
For producer Alden Iowani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.